one. And we're live one more time in one great episode of DojoLIVE, connecting experts like you. This is a Nearsoft sponsored initiative. And well, today we're going to have, of course, as ever, I want to thank my fellow teammate, Nearsoftian Tulio Siragusa. He's in LA. Hi, Tulio.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to have you here as ever, Tulio. So,
dialing in from rainy Los Angeles.
Yeah, and from very, very hot, unlikely hot Mexico City here, Carlos. And today's guest, well, we're going to have Mr. Stephen Taylor. He is the Senior Vice President of Sojern. And of course, we're going to be talking around the topic of the modern traveler's path to purchase. So I'm going to ask Stephen to tell us about that in a minute. So, Stephen, it's an honor to have you here. So we appreciate it, spending a whole half hour with us and with the audience. So thank you and welcome to today's show.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So are we. So are we. Okay. Well, I would like to start off, Stephen, by asking you, well, tell us, can you just start to tell us a little bit about you, where you come from, etc., and also, of course, telling us about why you chose this particular topic. So let's start with those two items. Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah, no, I've learned now that I live in San Francisco that I'm what is called a veteran, which is the polite way of saying I've been around a fair bit. So I won't give you the full history. But I've been sort of started very much as a sort of data CRM marketeer. And then from that, joined the sort of digital stuff very early on. I was very fortunate to be the leader in Europe of a business called Overture, which really pioneered the whole pay-for-search model that companies like Google became quite good at. And I've been CEO of a number of digital businesses before joining the Sojern business. And I'll tell you about Sojern in a second, but I originally joined that business in London. We're headquartered in San Francisco, but I originally joined in London. I'm a Brit, to set up everything outside of the US, what my US colleagues call rest of the world, and I like to point out is actually most of the world. And then we sort of did a sort of organization shift, and I moved to San Francisco to run our enterprise solutions business, which is really the business at Sojern that is the core business, the traditional business we've been in, which is working with some of the largest travel brands and their agencies and partners all the way around the world. So we have offices now, 3 or 4 different offices in the US, San Francisco, where I am, Midwest, and in New York. London, Paris, Dublin, Dubai, Singapore, Mexico City, where I shall be in a couple of weeks.
Hey,
Australia,
cool.
Hong Kong, and a number of other places. So that's where we are. Shall I tell you a little bit about Sojern just quickly, and then
please, by all means.
And that makes sense. So really, I can take half an hour just telling you about Sojern, so I'll try really hard not to do that. But
we'll take the elevator version.
Yeah, exactly. We'll take the pitch route. I'm not. We've got tall buildings in the US. So I've got a lot of elevators. No, so really put simply, we're a business entirely in the travel space and in advertising, marketing, and distribution of travel products. But fundamentally, the model is simple. We partner with some of the world's largest travel companies, the big online travel agencies, OTAs, they're called, meta search, airlines, hotels. And from them, we collect real-time travel behavior and travel intent signals. Where are people looking to travel to? Where are they booking? Where are they traveling to? Where have they just come back from? How many people are in the party? When are they looking to go? Are they trying to get a hotel and an airline? So we're collecting billions of points of data in real time on around 400 million unique users every month. We take that and we look at what travel behavior is taking place. We'll talk in a minute about path to purchase, which is really the sort of the main topic for today. But essentially, we're looking at all this online travel search intent booking behavior. And really the core product at the end of that is audiences. How do we understand what people are looking to do? They've booked a flight, but they haven't booked a hotel. They're looking to go to the Caribbean in 3 months' time. All these different data signals. And from that, we're able to create audiences. And we use those audiences, again, in real time to work with large advertisers. And indeed, we now have a division entirely focused on the long tail of hotels to help put that right hotel room offer, the right airline seat offer, the right ad, the right message in front of the right person at the right time to stimulate a new booking, to stimulate an upsell, an upgrade, to stimulate an ancillary sale for something that has already been booked. So, at a very simple level, you can imagine us working with a hotel group, one of the large hotel groups. We have all this airline, OTA, metadata, looking at everybody looking to fly, doing searches or booking travel to fly to Mexico City. We can then take that, create an audience of people who want to go to Mexico City in the next week that have booked an airline within the last 3 days and usually stay in 4-star hotels, and then we can use that audience for a major hotel group or an individual property in Mexico City. So that's really the simple outline. And probably the one other thing to say is that we have really two divisions. One is the division that I run, which has been the Sojern business for the last 8 years or so, which is we take all of that and we work with the world's largest travel companies, the Disneys of this world, the Marriotts, the big airlines, American Airlines, et cetera, to do exactly what I've just said. We have another super exciting and fast-growing division called Property Solutions, which takes all of that same great data science, intelligence, audiences, but actually makes it work for the independent hotelier, for the individual hotel, for the revenue manager at a local independent hotel in Mexico City. So we've created a sort of quasi-SaaS, sort of almost self-service business that allows you to take that great data science that we do, all the clever stuff with the big guys, and actually put it in the hands of a local hotelier in Mexico who just wants more people to stay in his hotel tomorrow. So that's really the essence of Sojern. And the topic I think we felt we'd all chat about today is at the heart of that, and it's at the heart of travel, whether it's about Sojern or anybody else. And it is this concept of the traveler's path to purchase. If you think about what we try and do as a living, we want to help big and small travel brands connect with the right traveler and influence a purchase decision. Stay in Hotel A rather than Hotel B. Upgrade to a suite rather than stay in the standard hotel room. To be able to do that, you've got to understand what people are looking to do and where they're doing in real time. Because the thing that you will know from your own experience about travel is that it's really complicated. And consumers can do lots of different things at lots of different times. And what I did last time when I was traveling is not what I'm going to do next time. Think about your own vacation decisions. You may start with an idea in your mind. It may be completely different from anything you've ever previously done, or it may be exactly what you've previously done. You'll talk to your partner, you'll talk to your friends, you'll research it online, you'll get a price, you'll compare the quote with somebody else. All of these things you're doing all of the time until ultimately leading to some vacation decision. And for those of us with any degree of affluence, we can sort of go on vacation at different times of the year. We can sort of go anywhere in the world, and we can sort of buy it through any one of 100 different channels. That's what makes travel so exciting. That's trying to understand that path to purchase. Who do I influence? Who's in market for my product right now? Where is somebody looking to go? That's really the topic that excites us, and we wanted to sort of put forward today.
Great. Steve, I'm curious to understand. First of all, there's a lot of touch points, a lot of different touch points to make what you're seeing happen.
I'm not sure if it's just me, but I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's some echo.
Is it better now?
Yeah, that's a lot better. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm curious to understand, I'm sure the audience is as well, are you providing this as a service, as an agency, or do you actually provide a platform? Can you walk us through
Sure.
how do you service your clients?
Yeah, no, really good question, and I should have touched on that before. If you take that starting point that our core product's not quite the right word, but our core product is the ability to create audiences that are the right audience for a given hotel brand, a given airline, for a given campaign or a given objective they have. We actually have several ways. That's really the heart. It's the ability to create the audience. Everything else is sort of however the client wants to do it. So a lot of the business in my enterprise world, we create we hear the objective, we get the goal from maybe an ad agency and the client directly. We want to fill more rooms in Berlin over a 3-week period, and particularly we're trying to target X, Y, and Z sort of people. We create that audience. Very often we then will do all the work. So we curate the audience, we then buy the media against that audience, we run the ads, so we're bidding real time in this sort of wonderful programmatic advertising landscape to put the right ad in front of somebody from our audience in real time, serve the ad, run the whole thing soup to nuts. So that's version A, and that's a lot of what we've historically done. Increasingly, the excitement for people as this programmatic industry has just got bigger and bigger and bigger, quite rightly, more and more companies want to go, certainly the big guys, they want to go, well, I want to take more control of that. I want to see every touch point. I want to understand more of that. And we go, that's great. We will curate that audience in exactly the same way. We'll finesse the way that audience works. We'll look at the results and what's happening so that the audience is learning. And we did a lot of, as you can imagine, sort of machine learning behind these audiences. And we'll keep iterating that audience. But you run the campaign, Mr. Client, or our agencies. You buy the media. You do that part of it. We'll just keep providing this real-time audience, which will refine and refine and refine and get better and better. And that's even with the big guys. With the small guys, with the property solutions division I touched on, really then we're working in a very pure, transparent, commission-based model. You're working with an individual hotel. We're doing all the same data crunching, all the same clever data science, all the same audience curation. We'll agree with the local hotel. You're willing to pay us X% like you would pay an OTA. We will do all the work. We will run the ad. We'll put it in front of the right person. But we will only get paid by you, the independent hotel, if that person follows through on that ad and stays in your hotel. And you'll pay us a commission like you would pay to Booking.com or Expedia, with the one big difference that we're just putting your individual hotel brand proposition in front of that consumer. We're not putting 25 hotels in front of them. We're putting one. We're putting your hotel. Yeah, so put it broadly, we're trying to have a business where the value add, the uniqueness is aggregating the data science, the machine learning, and the curation of audiences. And then either we will manage that for you if that's what you want, or we'll provide that audience to you for you to be able to manage it. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to elaborate on that a little bit more. So the traditional agency model has always been mostly focused around the creative, and then over time managing campaigns. That world has changed with programmatic buying and real-time bidding, which has put a lot more power at the end user, the actual marketer who's trying to make an impact. And more on that is happening with artificial intelligence and machine learning. A lot more of that self-service capabilities is going at the hands of the enterprise. Is that the end goal, or is it more to continue to be a hybrid model where here's the tools, here's the platform with the technology, but there's still the high touch capability that you would get from an agency. What's the end goal for you guys?
Yeah, I think a good question, but I'm not sure it's the question we ask ourselves, or rather I'd rephrase and say this is going to sound a little self-serving, but the end goal is to provide the service in the way the client wants the service.
So your value proposition is the flexibility to basically serve the client without being limited to the platform or service.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I would envisage, just because I think this is the way the industry is going for very good reason, because the way the big clients are going, I would envisage, and we fully anticipate, that more and more of our business will be us providing the audiences and somebody else buying the media, the sort of the core transactional level. But that's only because that's what people want to do. We're sort of agnostic to it. The value add remains the same. The core value add is around creating the audience. That's data we have, science we have, an approach we have that nobody else can really replicate, and it's tough to do. You can't do it without that level of data. You can't do it without that level of. So that's what we believe is the unique value add. Now, buying media against that and learning and refining all the time is also non-trivial. And some people think it's easier than it is, and they do it themselves, and then they realize they'd rather somebody else do it. We're fine with that. I mean, we can see it either way. But I think the direction of travel for the big guys is certainly more and more people doing it for themselves. At the smaller end, I think it's a massive value add to be able to run this for people. It's very hard for an individual hotel to compete in a real-time bidding landscape with giants. They're not going to sign up a direct demand, a demand-side platform. They're not going to sign up a DMP. They're not going to do any of those things. And we're saying, hey, we can package all of that, price it completely transparently in the way that suits you. We'll do the work for you. Just tell us what you want. Tell us how much you're willing to pay for a booking, and what your objectives are. We'll do all the work. So I think both of those models are going to keep both have a real place for different clients at different stages.
How much of it is your own invested platform versus integrated solutions that you're managing on behalf of the client?
Another really good question. I think this is an easy phrase to say, but it covers a lot of depth and a lot of different decision making. We have tried as a business very hard to focus on the stuff that we believe we can do uniquely well. And that really, going back to what I said about the core product, that is, our own technology is in the way we manage data, the way we hold the data, the way we analyze the data, the insights we can provide to that data, the algorithms, machine learning that is refining and curating those audiences, the way we can activate that data. That is really our tech, our platform, our capability. And I say increasingly we can make that available to more people. What we've tried you can't always avoid it, but what we've tried very hard to do is build what we'd call commoditized technology. So in the programmatic world, you need to have a bidder. Now we have our own bidder. We can bid ourselves in real time on the open exchange if we want to do that. But I think you've got to be realistic. We're an exciting company. We're growing. We're profitable. But we're 500 people around the world. Are we going to build a better bidding engine than Google, AppNexus, MediaMath, Oath, which is Yahoo and AOL? Probably not. Or rather, to do that, we're going to need to employ hundreds of engineers just building something that other people have already built. That strikes us as a dumb decision. That you want to focus your engineering, your data science, your technology on the thing that we can do uniquely well, and partner with the best people in the world who are good at the other pieces. And if the client's DSP is Google DBM, which is connected with just the biggest source of inventory on the planet, and we can provide our audiences inside the client's demand-side platform DBM, our unique added value remains the audience, not the bidding technology. So that was a bold decision. We took this decision about 4 or 5 years ago at a time when everybody was building everything themselves. I think, luckily for us in hindsight, it's turned out to be the smart decision. We really have no engineers just keeping legacy stuff alive that is competing with the giants of the industry. We're able to now partner with the giants of the industry because we have the unique added value layer they do not have.
I think that's great. Look, the supply and demand side, there's plenty of solutions out there, but managing the audience and being effective, that's the key thing. So, and ultimately it's about, would you say it's about driving the right experience? And how are you influencing those delivery mechanisms in terms of the experience that they're exposing to the end user? Are you involved in that eco chain, in influencing that, or how important does that play a role in terms of?
It depends where you mean. I mean, if you look at the things that drive what we're seeking to do, and thinking about that path to purchase, you're saying there's like probably 3 or 4 things that influence what we built and why we built it. You've got a consumer demand for personalization and relevance. There's a recent survey, 87% of US consumers not only would expect the service they receive, the ads they receive, everything they receive to be tailored to them. So clearly a lot of what we're doing, first of all, starts at the advertiser, the ad level, the offer level, which is personalizing an offer to you because you normally stay in 5-star hotels, you like a corner room and you like a jacuzzi, and the price of that hotel room on the day you want to go is X. That's an offer. That's not an ad. That's an offer now. That's a personal offer to you. That's a big part of what we seek to do. Increasingly, and I'll be very clear, it's not where we play a big role at the moment. Increasingly, that same data set and capability, companies, as we start to more port our audiences to the company as opposed to do all the work ourselves, more companies are saying, well, hey, if you can do that and personalize the ad, what about my on-site experience? What about these other elements? You've got this data set. And this brings us to the path to purchase, the key thing that we, Hotel Brand X, don't know. If I'm Hotel Brand X, I know something about you if you hit my website. If I'm Hotel Brand X, I know something about you if you've previously transacted with me and you sit in my CRM system. But even the largest hotel brand in the world, that is still probably a few percentage points of the available audience in real time at that moment in time for the product, the hotel that you offer. What we know is all that other stuff. So you, Mr. Hotel Brand X, know if you've hit my website before, you like jacuzzis and you like corner rooms. You know your own rates and availability and your own pricing. We know that you've also searched on 5 other hotel groups. You've also looked at a flight to 2 other destinations other than the one you've hit the hotel website for. We know all those other things that the user has been doing. And we know about all the users who are looking for a 5-star hotel in Mexico City, but have never touched your hotel website ever at all. And so it's the combination of those things. And I think that personalization, that knowing, the ability to personalize an offer for a brand to somebody that the brand has never even touched before, is a super powerful thing to be able to do, and is resonating really well. And the other things that go with that, which is why the path to purchase understanding is so key in travel, is that Hotel Brand A, every hotel is different, but on average in the US, hotels are running at around 66% occupancy. That means 34% of the rooms on any given night have not been sold. Now, to be clear, some hotels run at 90% and others run at 20%. There's a massive variation. But you can't, the one thing that we all know about travel, but is easy to forget, is I can't sell tonight's hotel room tomorrow. So if I do not sell it tonight, it's dead. It's not like a pair of Nike sneakers where, okay, I didn't sell it today, I'll discount it tomorrow and sell it, and I'll discount it in 4 months' time, and it'll be last month's fashion, and I'll discount it further. Tonight's hotel room is available tonight, can be bought in real time in every country in the world, and if I don't sell it, I've lost 100% of the opportunity money. That's what travel marketers are wrestling with. They want to fill those hotel rooms. They want to upsell those hotel rooms. And yet they know only a fraction of the people that are actually in market at any moment in time for their particular product.
Thanks. A couple of questions before. I know you have a conference coming up. I want to give you an opportunity to talk about that. But before we go there, I'm curious of what keeps you up at night right now, related to, one, growth for your company, two, your platform in terms of adoption in the marketplace, and overall the market challenges. Is the market adopting these new things, or is it resisting? What's your experience, and what could be better?
Really good. I mean, wow. I mean, there's so many different things in there. I mean, at a day-to-day level, the company is doing really well. You know, each quarter is bigger than the last quarter, and et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, clearly at one level, we're very happy, and we're pleased with the direction it's going. I think very little keeps me up at night, but that's just purely I can sleep through anything. So that's at a personal level. I think the things that challenge us all the time is, if you think about some of the things I've just been touching on, the ability to fill that hotel room that would otherwise have been empty, the ability to upsell, the ability to influence somebody down a very complex path to purchase. I think the things that still challenge all of us in this industry and the big brands is that measurement and attribution. How do I know for certain you've influenced me? This is the key for me. I mean, the only reason for anybody to spend a marketing dollar ever is to ultimately influence somebody to do something they otherwise wouldn't have done. Now, maybe I want them to influence them today to book, or it's I'm trying to build a proposition so that in 6 months' time they remember me and they may be more engaged. But at the end of the day, I only want to spend a dollar to influence somebody to do something they wouldn't have done at some level if I hadn't spent that dollar. And the great thing about the digital world is we can get lots of data, lots of stats, lots of click-through rates, the really hard bit is getting rid of all these clicks and views and all the proxies for that, and getting to that number, which is, did that $10, $100, $100,000 I spent influence somebody, or have I wasted that money? And I think we're all working as an industry so hard to refine and refine and refine that. But that's, I think the big challenge that we've got to meet. And then more broadly, it's, this is a land of giants. We're very lucky. We have a certified marketing partnership with Google. We have a certified marketing partnership with Facebook. Certainly in the Western world, less so Asia Pac, where we're very busy. But these are the dominating ecosystems, and that works well for us because we can uniquely add value on top of what they do. But they're big guys, and they can change their minds, they can change their algorithms, they can change things all the time. So I think, again, for all of us in the industry, you've got to choose whether you want to compete with those two, and I would suggest you don't. And if you're not competing, you've then got to be willing to constantly ride the waves. You've got to be totally innovative, always thinking about the next thing, accepting if Google changed their mind or something, that's life. You then have to build the next thing and find the next angle. So, just a few things to keep us occupied.
It's amazing how 20 years later we're still struggling to measure those things. I mean, the promise of online was to make it simple to understand those investments. Do you think the model that are being used, I know this is a big question, CPC, CPM, et cetera, are actually holding back progress? I mean, should we be moving to a cost per user where you actually nurture a set number of customers that you want to own a relationship with versus eyeballs and click-throughs and conversion?
Yeah, I think there's again, you say it's a huge topic, but I absolutely think as an industry, we've become obsessed by counting. It's human nature. On digital, we can count tons of stuff, clicks. So we count lots of clicks, and we assume they mean something. But in reality, they mean nothing. I mean, they're just a proxy. At best, they're a proxy. And at worst, they're actually completely irrelevant. And you can look at all the studies and you go, well, actually, the correlation between clicks and people buying stuff is really very small. But I can count clicks, so let me count the clicks and let me see how many clicks I've got. So I agree. I think that's held people back. We just count and count stuff that isn't the real stuff. And I think gets back to the way we view this path to purchase. One of the opportunities we see, and I'm not going to pretend we've cracked the code on everything here, is when you're talking in a single vertical like travel, you start to understand the depth of traveler behavior and that path to purchase. You start to be able to see how you can sequentially take people down pathways, because you can see the consideration set. You can see all the different things they're doing. And I think when you can see the consideration set, and then you can see what the results are and where people book and don't book and where they go, I think then you start to get towards the direction you said, which is, this is what a user is doing. This is a people-based measure. This individual was doing this and now they did that. And I do think that is absolutely the way for us to go in the future. But I'll be honest, I think a lot of marketing dollars, a lot of marketing departments, a lot of agencies are set up to proliferate the click counting, and it's still a long way to go. But that certainly would be our ultimate aim. I mean, we don't want to spend anybody's money on something that they don't need to spend any money on. It's just it's just a wasted exercise for everybody. So.
Disrupt the way.
We're giving it our best shot.
So we're almost coming up on time. I want to give you an opportunity to tell our guests and audience about your upcoming conference. You're participating. What is it called again, Carlo?
We're at the Skift Tech Forum. I think you guys may be there.
Where can we find you? You're going to have a booth. How does the audience?
I don't have a booth, so that the main ways are our CEO Mark Raby is going to be presenting a lot of the things we've just been talking about. I think so. If those who don't know Skift is the travel. I think the best set of conferences, and it's online online content around travel distribution, travel business, travel marketing. So our CEO Mark Raby, I think, is the only sort of digital marketer presenting, and he's going to be talking about some of these themes there on June the 12th, all about multi-channel stuff. So you've got Facebook, you've got mobile, you've got display, you've got all these different channels, you've got all that complexity I've just touched on, all these different touch points. How do you make sense of everything in that sort of world? How do we help the travel brands make sense of that and market accurately in a sort of connected way? So that's June 12th at Skift. I will, to your colleague Carlos, I will actually be in Mexico City then. So I won't be at Skift, but we've got a full team at Skift. That's Skift San Francisco. And then later in the year, New York will be at Skift New York as well, which is their big event, which is probably the best event in the world, I think, in travel for people to attend if they haven't.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great to host you or have you pay a visit to our office, have lunch or something. I'm sure that our guys also would be thrilled to just to talk to you and just to get to know more about travel tech and Sojern, so on and so forth. If your schedule permits, please consider this a formal invitation.
Thank you very much.
To join me, and I'll go pick you up and whatever it takes. So yeah, well, Tulio, we're as you know, we're approaching. We need to wrap up today's interview. So.
It's been a pleasure, Stephen. Carlos, take us home. Appreciate it talking with you.
Thank you, Tulio. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, and the only thing left for me to do, Stephen, is thank you. And also, if you have any final words of wisdom for our audience, what would this be?
Wow, words of wisdom. Yeah. I think it's.
I told you.
you did tell me, and that's still doesn't help me, Carlos. But
humorous wisdom works too.
Yeah.
I think that the real thing is just re-emphasizing the things I've said. I just love the travel business because it's real time. The product dies every night. The path to purchase is super complex. What you did last time is not a predictor as a consumer of what you will do next time. And therefore, whether it's with my company or any other way you want to attack it, you can only attack it by understanding that complexity and working at that level of data and data science. What are people doing in real time? How can you predict what they're going to do next? How can you get that right message and hijack that customer because your competitor will. So if you don't do it, somebody else is going to get in there and do it. So it's a great industry, travel advertising, travel distribution to be in. But super complex, and make sure you're working with somebody who's got the data chops to help you navigate that.
Cool. Well, Stephen, we have come to a close, and of course, if you're watching, folks, for those who are watching or will be watching at a later time, you're going to find both Stephen's contact info or the company's contact info right here on DojoLIVE's on the DojoLIVE website, which is dojo.nearsoft.com. So it's all going to be in there. Just go to the interviews menu, and it'll take you to this interview that we had today with Stephen. So, Stephen, again, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure and an honor, and we look forward to being in touch. And of course, let me know if you're going to be around, and we'll touch base and make something happen.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, Tulio.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone.